Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
There is nobody of merit there. It's for their new fan base. That's who D23 is for. Everybody who went there knowing they sniff crotch and suck shit.
You know how much I love Snorlax? I'm gonna prove it to you. These are my slippers. All right, Snorlax slippers. I don't give a crap who knows. I'm a grown man and I'm rocking Snorlax slippers. I don't give a crap. This girl sounds like a freaking duck being beat to death by a goose.
You got to watch it. You got to hit the like button.
We've got to get it up for him, guys. Come on. Everyone who's watching this
Don't say
video
it like
to
that.
go over
Don't
there,
say it like that.
And share the video. We got to keep going.
Don't they have to get it up for me? Don't say it like that. God damn it.
I'm colored. Shut up.
Well, we're talking about people who have serious sexual orientation and gender identity problems. And I'm not talking, and when I say sexual orientation, I don't mean, a dude who likes a dude and a chick who likes a chick. We're talking about people who think that they're non-binary and they don't know how to play with their holes and shit like that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I want to dive into her deep pool and swim around in her labia.
Who writes someone that's a genius and that everybody is over there sucking her toes, and then you got to come over here and then say something ridiculous like, hey, victimize me, daddy.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
Hey, my name is a pimp named Dreesen, and I believe I've misplaced some merchandise at this residence. Lord Jesus and the shepherds, where is daddy's money? I will not hesitate for one solitary second to put hands on somebody if I don't have my monies.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores.
Ooh, so exciting.
No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
There was high top fade, Dre. There's been so many over the years. Cornrows, all of them.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul, baby, feeling oh so silky smooth.
Please, sir, can I have some darkies? And I gotta say, any person who uses a Funko Pop or gets a Funko Pop immediately disqualifies themselves from any fan discussion.
Unless you're getting it for a mocking reason to make fun of something.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Or if it's a gift from someone.
Both of y'all suck. I hate you both.
If it's a gift from someone who doesn't know better, that's fine. I have a couple of those. But if you're going out collecting Funko Pops,
no, you're retarded. Funko Pops are awesome. I hate myself. I have a problem.
I've got loads of them.
You're a girl. You're allowed to do it. You're a girl.
It's okay for girls. Yeah, they're exempt. Dre, this is not okay. We need to have an intervention.
I have a problem. I've got no shame.
But we don't want Revan touched. No.
Agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh, God.
There's no doll left.
Who is that? I don't know that person anymore. I don't have to deal with them at all anymore. They're I don't even think about
That's your best friend, your future boyfriend.
Oh, God, why would you do that to me?
Ah.
God, I'd rather have Dermy as my boyfriend than that.
Oh, God.
Liar!
This is why I do crystal meth.
I dangled for too long there. That wasn't fun.
I'm gonna tell you, if I'm gonna tell you a story and the end result is gonna be me taking a dump on somebody's forehead, do you care about how we got there?
Let me do it myself here. Let me get it up real quick. Hey, shut up. Shut up. I didn't mean it like that, you perverts.
Oh, these two girls when you kiss are gonna be hot. Oh, yo, you know Elizabeth Hurley's gonna get butt naked in this.
Well, no, see what they do is they turn the villains into the good guys through some BS, and then they make a new villain that they then turn into the good guy because there are no villains. Everybody's just misunderstood.
Oh, yeah. You know what else is misunderstood? Diarrhea. That's what's misunderstood. Because even though
I think everybody understands that one pretty well.
Because no matter what I eat, no matter how well I eat, diarrhea still comes somehow. And that's exactly what this is. It's diarrhea. And I won't have no part of this. I had a couple people ask me, like, oh, did you go see Craven? Under no circumstance. I'd rather sacrifice a small goat on top of an Empire State Building and bathe in its blood before I go and see this film. I will have no part of it. I won't have any part of it. It sickens me. Sickens me from my head to my penis. I'm done with all of this garbage. I'm so done. I can't with this. So I'm glad Sony has canceled this. I mean, will cancel their universe. I don't want to see anymore. I'm honestly up to my black eyeballs of seeing any of this garbage. I don't want to see any more superhero anything anymore.
No! She's not supposed to be talking about.
I have no idea what's going on, Dre, but it's fun.
Talk about that.
He's having a breakdown. Somebody call Johnny Cochran.
And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you know, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs. You know?
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
It gets worse every week.
It's longer and longer.
Well, and I try to keep it under around between 6 and 6.5 minutes. So I take things out and I move things around. But that latest one from Dre last week, that was 1:12 seconds. That's how long that went on for. So I had to pull out a bunch of stuff, and I had to pull out other things. So I'd repeated a couple of clips by accident last week. But yes, that I just remembered last minute before we got started. I had to make that. But welcome to Round Table, where it's just the ginger and the Jew. We have been left because everybody's on a holiday trip, traveling stuff. Jed did it yesterday, so he could be here. That's why I could trust Jed. Anyway,
I'm dedicated. I'm invested in this show.
Dre's on the road. Dragon Lady's on the road. So it's just us. So Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to the Round Table, where we will do our best to entertain you because we got some topics. It will be a good one today, I think, because there's stuff we have to cover. A couple things. We got to talk Superman. And not just the trailer, but everything that's happened since. Because that, frankly, is even more interesting to me than the trailer itself. Because I've already talked about the trailer 2 or 3 times already. I will go over it again, but there's not much more I can say. I'm repeating myself at this point if you've heard me say it. Then, of course, we have our Sunday privilege. Box office is big right now. A lot to talk about with that. And then we'll kind of round it out with just a retrospective on the year of what we think the wokest failures were, and has this been the death of woke in 2024 going to 2025 for various reasons. Anyway, so Jed, how you feeling after your journey yesterday to make sure you're here?
I'm feeling good. Well rested. Got about 12 hours of sleep last night because of how exhausted I was from traveling. Didn't sleep the night before, so that's why. Yeah. But I'm well rested for this show because I need the energy to talk about everything we're going to. Clearly tell I'm traveling, so if I do have to turn off my camera for whatever reason, internet or whatnot, be aware that that's what's happening. I'm doing my best with what I have available, but we're going to have a great show. Even though it's just the two of us, the diversity has left us. There's no more pretenses. The actual real crew is still here. The add-ons for diversity.
diversity shield is gone.
Our diversity shield is gone, so no more pretending.
No, yeah. So let's say hello to the chat. Hail the goddess and Algrim the strong, my mods, here to keep the peace. One loves me, one hates me, and reminds me of it every single stream. Hail Dom H, who was with us last night playing some impromptu Dark Tide. We had some fun with that for a couple of hours. It was a good time. Good afternoon, Kale. How are you? Hail Chase Hedges 67, and thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Really am. Glad you're here. Hail Jay Fraser. By next year, it's going to be an hour long. I know. I will keep it under 7 minutes.
We don't even have a show. We just have clips from old shows.
No, what'll happen is one day no one shows up, so I just put together 2 hours of clips, and I just run that. It's the end.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to have that in your back pocket.
Maybe. I don't know. But how pissed off would people be if they tuned in thinking it was going to be live and something happened and all I could do is put together an hour of clips? I mean, I have names.
You put effort into it to make a fake conversation out of everything, like make a narrative out of our clip, make fake conversations with us.
I don't know if I have that many. I mean, I have a folder. It's a folder of stuff, but it's a mix. It's not just the clips of this show. It's stuff from Mellow Mondays and other things. And I try not to let them cross over. I mean, there's one crossover here because it was an original thing I used on here, but I try not to have too much cross-pollination of the retardation, because the retardation that goes on Mellow Mondays, that's a whole different weirdness, because sometimes Dermy's there. And
I love how you made Mellow Mondays originally to be much more laid back, where you can get into the nerdy conversations and just go off, but it devolved into being light ballbuster, so you had to make a whole new show with Nerdgasm just to get out the deep dive nerd talk you were hoping for with Mellow Mondays.
It just didn't happen like that. So I don't know if I'll ever have enough clips for that. Right now, if I put everything together, maybe there's half an hour if I put it all together. But
you can at least pad your runtime if you're
if I had to. All right, so keep on going down the list. Hey, huzzah, son of Joxer, how are you? And Alvin Strong for a 23-month member message. Merry Christmas to all, and in particular, Adam Jed of the Crimson Captaincies. Thank you, my good friend. Hey, Jed, did you know you currently have a membership to the channel?
I do.
Yeah, you got one for free when I gave it out. So,
very happy that I have free value.
Yeah. Hail to Ruben X. How are you, my friend, who sometimes also joins us when we're playing Starship Troopers? All right. Anybody else who is not chatting and just joining us, we're happy to have you on this holiday weekend. We know people are traveling. We know you're busy. You know there's other stuff to watch and do, but we're happy to have you here with us. Hit those like buttons, subscriptions. Links are in the description below. God, whatever. Moving on.
I do want to ask you. You say that you have the two mods, right? One of them loves you, one of them hates you. Yeah. But I still think both would date you, even with that.
I don't even know how to answer that.
I don't know. I just want to see if you agree. Yes, they'd love you and hate you, but it'd just be a different relationship. I think they both love you in their own ways.
I am not giving fodder to this conversation at all. Moving on.
Hey, Algrim likes it. Algrim's all on board. Hey, look, Alice is thinking about it. He's questioning whether or not he would date you. That means you have options, man.
Option 1, option 2. Okay.
You can have a date for Christmas.
It's too late for that. I'm alone and sad. Anyway. I have family. It's okay. Anyway, but before we get going though, Jed, you know what's happening next week?
What's happening next week?
Shooty time.
Yes, joy to the world is happening. We definitely need some of her joy. Oh, while we're talking about joy, because you know she's fat, I have a story to tell about traveling about someone who's fat.
Go for it. I love it.
So on the plane yesterday, because of the airline we went with, Rachel and I's seats were separated. She was at the back, I was at the front, good 25 rows between us. And so when we landed, I got up, got out of the way of everyone, was letting everyone through. And then suddenly everyone stops walking past me. It's empty. It's like, oh, did I miss her? Is she out there waiting? So I get up, turn around. There is a fat whale coming down the aisle. I'm talking, she's too big to walk sideways down the aisle.
Oh, no.
There's no way she can get it. She was at the back of the plane, so there's no space. And about halfway through, she loses her breath, has to stop. And so all the people around her just take her bags from her and like, we're gonna carry this. She makes it a little bit farther, then has to stop again. That's when the flight attendant comes and basically like tries to hold her up on the side and waddle sideways down. Then she loses her breath again and needs to rest. And everyone's just bottlenecked. There's a good 40 people behind her waiting to deplane. And the best part, when she finally got off the plane, the whole thing rocked like this.
You're kidding me.
No. And Rachel, she didn't see this whale at all. She didn't see what was, there was too many people in between her and the whale, so she didn't see, but she felt the rock, and she's like, what the hell happened? Are we moving again?
Oh my, wow.
It was enough that...
See, at first I thought you were going to tell me a story that you were somebody that took up 3 seats in one thing. But
I'm sure she would have had to. She was big enough that she needed to, yeah, but I never saw her sit down. It was funny how often she needed to take breaks just waddling sideways down the aisle.
I'm surprised you guys took off.
Yeah, it's a weight allowance issue.
Jeez,
if she had been too close to the wing, we might have just flown in circles.
Bacon.
She wasn't white. I'll leave it at that. She wasn't white.
We don't have our diversity shields. We can't go that far.
Oh, and I had a Downsy Mexican next to me. That was fun. And across the road from me were 3 people who'd never flown before. They needed to have the flight attendant show them how to use the buckles. Wasn't working, so she had to go back to the front of the plane and bring back the demonstration buckle to show them closer to their faces. And then throughout the flight, they found the call button. They were so excited about that. They're like, we've got a call button. We've got a call button. And they used it all the time. And they just ask her questions out of the safety manual. And yeah, they were not white.
Well, at least you were entertained.
I was entertained, except for the guy next to me. He didn't know what elbow space was, so he was like this the whole time. And if I tried to adjust,
dudes like that, they got like, dude.
If he hadn't been a little downsy or all the way downsy, I might.
Okay, all right.
Bit.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful of that retard strength, though. You don't want to challenge that retard strength.
There's only a 2-hour flight, so it's like, all right, I'm just gonna sleep. We'll make my way through it. But
okay, so I think we're thoroughly demonetized now. So let's get on with the show.
I didn't say anything demonetized worthy. I use careful language. I use very careful language.
We're always all right. For those who don't know, routinely, at least 8 times out of 10, or at least 3 times out of the 4 episodes a month, we get limited when we're done, and I gotta put it up for review. Normally we're fine. We always get put back to green from yellow. I don't know about today. You don't have.
I used very careful language. I said they are not white. I didn't specify. I didn't use any slurs. I didn't use any language that would trip up the automated algorithm or what are the automated sensors.
Okay, all right. All seriousness, I'm glad you survived. Now you said it was nice you tripped, man. I don't know. That's pretty harrowing. A lot of landmines.
I gotta write a novel about what happened.
There's a short story there. There's a comical short story and all of that. If you were a stand-up comedian, that's an entire skit right there. That's an entire skit. If you were a stand-up comedian, yeah, that would work. That'd be brilliant. I'm glad I don't fly anymore. I can't do it. Not because I'm afraid. It's because it's too much of a hassle.
It's definitely a hassle.
I mean, if I'm going anywhere, I'm taking the train.
Well, they don't let you check in your checked bags before 3 hours before your flight.
What?
Yeah, we got to the airport 20 minutes before that 3-hour mark, and we had to check a bag, and they literally said, go away. And we just went and sat down. The line for security was short. It would have taken us 5 minutes to get through security. Then after we had to wait and check our bag, it was completely full. Completely full.
That's it. This is why I am tired of air travel. It used to be a nice, simple thing before events 24 years ago, but now it just gets worse and worse every year. And I want the hassle. I want the hassle. I miss the good old days. That and also planes are uncomfortable now. They used to be so much. It used to be wider. Used to be better service, and you didn't. And back in the day, not everybody didn't bring a carry-on. Now everybody just brings a carry-on. They're shoving everything up there.
Oh, you have to pay extra for those. The carry-on price is the same as check bag price at the airline I went with.
I check everything. Only thing I usually if I'm ever forced to, I just check everything except for my laptop bag, which doesn't even have a laptop in it anymore. It's like a book and my Switch and like maybe a couple other things to dick around with. and I can put that under the seat. So I mean,
we normally just do personal items under the seat. We can get away with it, but we had big Christmas presents, so I had to get a check bag.
Yeah. So all right, holiday season, everybody. Travel's fun. Anyway, all right. So let's get started. We're 20 minutes in. Let's start the actual show. Padding is done. All right. So let's start with the box office. We will continue tracking what we've been tracking for the past couple of for past 4 weeks now, past month actually, and looks like our revised Wicked estimations were when we revised them last week. I don't think it breaks 600 million now. It has run out of steam completely. It is just there. Who is no one's going to see this anymore. Look at that.
Ooh.
It's done.
Yeah, I don't know if it can do it.
No, I don't think it can.
I'm surprised it doesn't have better legs, especially through the holidays.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think everybody who went to see it, they went back and saw it, and then they didn't do it again.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do it again. I think that's it. I think I know what I think they did. I think a lot of them bought the soundtracks and just are listening to the soundtrack.
Yeah, they got the music. That's what they wanted.
That's what they really wanted.
And they're hearing all the interviews with the actresses coming out, like the one actress saying she fought for the black hairstyles for the Wicked Witch because it's a metaphor for blackness and queerness.
Yeah, I don't think the interviews have stunted it. I just think it's run its course completely.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to do a little better. I thought it was 650. I really did in the beginning because there was
some people were talking $1 billion that first weekend.
We never were
out there. Yeah, we never were, but some people thought it might. And it's I agree at this point. No 600.
No 600, and because the international just flat. That's a respectable domestic. And it's made a little money. It's made a little money.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't a financial failure. It's more than justified. It's part 2. And they made money. The studio's probably content with this film.
Did you hear what they changed the title for the second movie to?
No, I didn't hear this.
Wicked for Good.
I was kind of hoping they would have called it Wickeder.
I always think back to that kind of joke where back in the day before Die Hard got Die Hard 2, we all made the jokes Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Harder, which they did call it Die Harder. Die Hard 3, Die Hardest, Die Hard 4 Dead. Of course, that's not how it all went, but I mean I respect that though. I respect that thought process because that's how we were back in the day. Yeah. I kind of stop at Die Hard 3. I'm okay stopping there.
I've only seen the first one, so
no. Die Hard 2.
I love the first one.
Die Hard 2 is fun. It has its positives. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I still like it.
From what I've heard, the action's still good, but it lost some of the complexity, some of the actual depth.
It wasn't as charming as the first one. Yeah. Although it has some really great moments in it. Die Hard 3 is a completely different movie. Is
that the one with Samuel Jackson?
Yeah, it's one with Sam Jackson. Yeah. That's a completely different movie, completely different dynamic, and it's excellent. It's great. Live Free or Die Hard is acceptable. You still have McClane sort of being McClane in that situation where acting like a detective. The fifth one is garbage dog shit. It's just shooting guns. That's all it is. There's no action. The story is thin. John McClane is really not John McClane in that. He doesn't do anything John McClane-ish. It's him and his son who's a spy or something. It was dog shit. They're in Russia. I just stop it with a vengeance, and you're fine. You're fine after that. All right. So Wicked, I think it's done. I think combined, both of them will make $1 billion combined. But
I think that's very fair to say. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't like the title though, Wicked for Good. I mean, that is one of their most famous songs from the musical, so I understand what they were going with. Because part 1 and part 2,
that's the name of a song?
Yeah, For Good. That's one of the Wicked songs.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one I can remember the title of, besides that. Everyone talking about the Broom song.
Defying Gravity, I think it's called.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, For Good is one of the main songs, the main one I can remember. So I at least understand the thought process and wanting to go away from part 1 and part 2, because no one likes things being called part 1 and part 2. You got to actually name them different things.
You're right.
Like I think that hurt Mission Impossible being marketed as a part 1 for the 7th film.
Definitely one of the factors that hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are like, what is this? What are we doing? So Wicked, it's essentially done. I think it squeaks out. I think it'll be in theaters for a couple more weeks, but then I think they're going to slowly drop. Let's see what its theater capacity is right now. Okay, they've started to decrease the theaters. Okay, and I
a
have
little
to
bit, yeah.
sneeze. Hang on. No, forcing it back. Okay, it went away.
Can you scroll down to the last individual day?
Oh yeah, individual day. Yeah.
Okay.
That's today. Yeah, projections for today. Yeah, it's pretty weak for the Sunday before Christmas.
Weekend. Mm-hmm.
For the Sunday before Christmas, where everybody's essentially people could be traveling, but look at this week though. 2 million, 2 million, 3 million. It's done. It's done.
Yeah.
And not because it's failing, it's just it's legitimately run its course.
Yeah, no, this isn't failure material. Yeah. It's just it's reached the end of its steam, which is completely understandable.
And also because other things have swept in. We already know Moana too. It might. We thought it was going to hit $1 billion. It might slow down.
What was it at last week? I thought it would be above 800.
It was around 6. It was over 600 last week. Hang on, let's go back. All right, doesn't have that week's totals, but yeah, last week it was over 600. It was like 300 was the international to domestic. I mean,
that's not a giant week. 13 million for the weekend.
Oh wow, look at its week here though. 1, 2, 2, 1.
I think it's slowing down at this point. I don't think it's breaking 850.
Yeah, I guess we were a little.
It's still doing astonishingly
well.
It
still made a ton of money. It's made a lot of money for what they.
Yeah, I think its legs are running too.
Yeah, I thought it would go to $1 billion. I thought with that juggernaut breakout, I thought it was going to get there. So I was wrong, totally wrong. But still, that's respectable, and we give Disney all the credit in the world because starting today, 35 million domestic, 87 international. Do they have the budget here? 200 million. That's a lie. It's bigger than that.
It's got to be bigger than that. So I think we can safely say 600 million break-even point. I don't know how do you feel about 600 million being the break-even?
Between 5 and 6. I feel good about that.
We can do 550 just to be safe.
Yeah. I don't think
it's not making it. No,
it doesn't get there. No.
Not even close.
This thing is lucky to get to 200. It's lucky. I don't think it gets. I think if it gets there, it barely gets there. It limps across it because this movie is exactly what we said it was. It's a movie nobody asked for.
Well, no one wants to see Mufasa rewritten as kind of the bad guy. From what we know of the story, Scar is a misunderstood hero, which they have to do every single time, and Mufasa's claiming what is rightfully Scar's. They're not actual brothers anymore.
Yeah, and according to what I've heard, Mufasa is raised by women, and Scar is raised by men.
Okay, that makes all the difference. See?
Yeah. So it's exactly what we knew it was going to be, a failure. So they're going to lose money on this one, and rightfully so, because the fact that they even got Timon and Pumbaa in there, it's ridiculous. And I think I predicted, I'd have to ask somebody who maybe saw it, that they showed in the trailer that Taka, who becomes Scar, gets his scar because Timon scratches him across the face at one point, I guess towards the end. That's what I saw in a trailer. So
they're so obsessed with these prequels of integrating everything that you know about the original story into the prequel. I think the best example of this that nobody asked for is Solo with the dice backstory. They made it a big part of the film, Solo's dice that he has in the Millennium Falcon. Yeah. No one cared. Everyone's just like, yeah, it's just a good luck charm, or it's just decoration. It's just part of the aesthetic.
You see it once. You see it once in A New Hope. You never see it again.
It's unimportant. But with these prequels, they have to find a way to connect everything, like how he got his last name. There's so many examples in Solo, but how Scar got his scar, of course, is going to be a big one.
Yeah.
And every prequel does this, and I doubt a single one of those things is anything that people cared about.
This is why, unless it's an historical or a world building historical thing where people want to see that historical moment.
Yeah, a historical event, I think, is totally
That's
different.
prequels I'm okay with, but these prequels that retcon shit, or prequels that set up situations where there's zero tension because we know the outcome, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Or zero need to make connections that weren't there already. Like a great example of that is The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. At the end, Thranduil just randomly goes to Legolas and is like, there is a ranger you must meet, and I believe you will be close friends. You must find Strider.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are, despite the fact that I like the Hobbit trilogy for what it is, I still enjoy it. It's shit like that is why.
That's why I exclusively these days watch fan edits of it that make it one movie. The Hobbit trilogy into one movie. So those are actually pretty good because it just focuses on what's in the book.
Well, I've got it on the shelf, so it's there. So
it's there.
It's there. And also, if I really want to, hey, there's 6 hours, I can just or 6 to 9 hours, I can just kind of put something on and leave it, go through it. If I'm doing other stuff, it's there. I could be then I can move on to the next one. Because when you watch one, you have to go on to the next one.
Of course.
When I watch them, I go in chronological order. I don't just go. I start. I do the whole thing. So it's a thing when I sit down and do it. It's not just that. But yeah. So prequels suck, and this is the prime example of why prequels suck, because you mess with something that didn't mess with. And let's be honest, even though and I quote it, live action Lion King from 6 years ago made $1 billion. Does anybody like it or talk about it?
I want to see the DVD sales for that Lion King.
I doubt that it did anything because nobody talks Lion King, they talk the animated classic, which as a kid I had that. I had it. It was one of the last times they sold the big old thick plastic Disney VHS cases. I had that thing on VHS, man. I know it's a thing that people don't know what that is anymore, but it was VHS, those big plastic boxes that whatever. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Okay.
I've seen them in museums.
In museums, you've seen them on historical reels where they talk about the dark days where everything was black and white, no such thing as color.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you this before, but as a kid, I legitimately asked my parents what it was like to live in a black and white world. I thought when people said they invented color, it's not that they invented color cameras. They invented color as a concept. Like the world was black and white.
That is a wonderful child question. That is wonderful. I actually like that. That is great. That is truly a child asking a question that they didn't quite comprehend with childlike mind. That is brilliant. But so this was I believe you, myself, and Dre and Dragon Lee, we always said this was gonna bomb. We knew this was never gonna land. Some people thought it might capture some attention. We always say you can go back, look in the deep dark receipts, alongside things that we got wrong, though, we got this one right.
But as soon as its competition was announced, though, that's when we knew there's no way it's even gonna be the #1 movie.
Yeah, and here we go, competition. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Let me reload it to see if we've got any international with it. No, so there's no international. Let me go down here real quick. Because the international is going after Christmas. Interesting strategy. So
I'm a little worried about that, but at least domestically, it's dwarfing Lion King's opening.
Yeah, this has 62. Today, I've seen other articles that say 70 million today.
I've seen over 70 as well.
Yeah. So compare that to Mufasa. That's a good old fashioned barn whooping right there. Sonic came out strong, and from what I've heard, because I haven't seen it yet, you haven't seen it either.
Nope, not yet.
Everybody loves it. Everybody's enjoying it. Some people have already gone to see it a few times at this point. I think
they've already announced a 4th film.
And right away, next day, 4th film, because they teased it. I know what the teasers are. I'm not going to spoil it. I did read up what the teasers were because I was curious. Because I'm not, listen, I'm an old school Sonic fan. The last Sonic game I played was Sonic CD on the Sega CD. That's the last one I played. And I had played everything.
Those are words, technically.
Those are words. And they're words that denote greatness. Okay, that's what they are. I mean, I played all the original cartridges, Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles. You know, I played those when I had my Genesis, and then I got the Sega CD. But after that, since I didn't really, even though I had a Saturn at one point, I didn't go farther with the Sonic games, and then of course they went cross-platform, or they did because Sega went under as a console manufacturer or developer. But I haven't really been into it. And one of the things that, and it's not this, and for the record, this is not me being negative about Sonic. What kind of has me always not interested in it is the fact that it's taking place on Earth instead of Mobius. If it had been if the entire thing had been on Mobius, I would have loved that. They went the route of that horrible Sonic X cartoon. If anybody says they like it, good for you. That thing was shit on Fox. It was shit. It just went to shit immediately. I gave it too long as it was back in the day. But that's what I wanted. So this wasn't necessarily made for me, because also I'm not hardcore enough just to enjoy it, even though I know they respected the hell out of it. They did all they can and people enjoy it. And I'm always the guy also. Now, once again, this is going to make Jed cringe because I'm going to be old when I say this. I'm the guy that liked the Sonic Freedom Fighters cartoon from back in the 80s on ABC. That was my favorite iteration of all time, with Bunny and Princess Sally and Sebastian. And that was, I loved that one. That was so much fun. Even had a few, even read a little bit of the comic run, a little bit. I had a few issues of that one. That's how much I liked it, because I randomly found them like, oh yes, more, because they canceled it. And when they went away from that and went more towards the other direction, where instead of Sally, you got Amy Rose, who I want to just stick in the ground and bury. I fucking hate Amy. That's when I really started to lose interest. And also, then they stopped calling it Mecha Sonic, and they called it Metal Sonic, who was my favorite villain. It went away from what I enjoyed, so I'm just not into it anymore. But I'm happy everybody's enjoying it, and I know that they've teased certain things for the next movie, which they announced, like Jed said. But hopefully, we had hoping Dre was going to be here, because he has seen it, and I remember him saying he'd already bought 2 tickets to see it twice. So the extent of our conversation is good job. That's the extent of what I could say. Good job, unfortunately.
If anybody's going to win, we're very glad it's Sonic 3. Because it deserves to win. I have issues with the second film, especially because that film has more coincidences in one sitting than I've seen in the majority of films. It's wild, but they're fun movies. And after the decision made that we always talked about with Sonic 1, the redesign, that earns so much fan love, and it's clear that they care about this franchise. So as much as, like you're saying, you and I, we're not the target audience for it. We're not as super interested. I'm definitely going to see it, but not first weekend type. I don't care about it that much. I think we both are very glad that it's successful for the people who love it, and to help incentivize Hollywood to continue making the decisions that were made in the Sonic trilogy, to honor lore, to listen to the fans. It's not a hard formula, and we need to make it pay off for them. So other people will look at that and say, hey, maybe we should emulate that behavior.
Yep. I could not say that any better myself, because we need positivity like this. Is what we need. We need people enjoying stuff, and we need the positive feedback to let creators know that when you actually market something to your fans and they respond with love and passion, that'll encourage you to do it again and again. So maybe one day, when the entire series is complete, when it's run its course, and somebody makes me sit down and watch it, then maybe I'll watch it. But at this time, I'm okay. I'm happy, but I'm happy for everybody enjoying it. And I hope what this does also at the same time is spur creativity to make the games great again. Because I know for a while, there's been a lot of divisive discussion about what games are good, what aren't, and how they lost their way, and they've been making them. So I hope that this reignites the developers at Sega to make some Sonic games for the fans and have some fun with that, because I think that would be a good, to have both the movie and the game franchise be thriving. That would be a good thing. That'd be a good one.
And a lot of other studios have made promises of multiple parts of the franchise benefiting from each other and going very successful in both games, movies, television show, animated, but no one seems to be able to pull it off. And I don't think James Gunn's going to be able to pull it off with DC.
Oh, no, he is not. So that's a good way to close this out, because without Dre to actually talk about the movie, we would be disingenuous to stretch this out any farther. So congratulations on the 3, but Jed brings it up. We got,
for you.
I know. We got a present this week in terms of content and discussion. And that would be, we knew it was coming, and that is the Superman trailer. It dropped. They dropped the teaser for the teaser on Wednesday. And then they dropped the actual trailer on Thursday, which all of us, I made sure I got up early enough to get it done before the major streams of the day so that I could still watch the streams, not be influenced. And I can honestly say this, after a couple of creative edits, I am one of the only people that I know of from everybody's discussion. I've heard a lot of discussion. I'm the only one still. I'm one of the few people monetized with my reaction because I managed to get it through. They hit me twice, and I just did a couple of creative edits. And it was my own fault. I ran a little too long watching and not stopping. So it hit me for one for 15 seconds, another one for 17 seconds of the trailer without stopping. So that's how they got me. And once I made a little clips here and there, I got through. So I'm monetized. So go watch my full reaction, which will have most of what I say here. We'll have a couple extra things here that we're going to say that I didn't say there because I wanted to save it for this conversation. So we're going to bring it up. We are not going to play it, though. We are going to we're going to go through it and discuss it. We're not going to skip around. We're going to go through it, and then I'll point one thing out at the very end to tie into part of the conversation. Because I'll say this now so that Jed kind of knows where I'm going. Jed, let me ask you before we get into this. This is not a woke trailer.
No, absolutely not. I didn't see anything politically minded. I didn't see anything that was necessarily geared towards a political audience. I have issues with the trailer, but wokeism is definitely not one that should even come into the conversation besides saying, yeah, it's not woke.
Yeah. From the trailer itself, no. Now, when James Gunn has opened his mouth, now we got problems. Story. And now, and there's one thing when we get through it, I will mention that I didn't mention my reaction that is conspicuously absent from this that would have possibly triggered woke discussions. But you probably know where I'm going with that. But I'll save it till we get through it. So here we go. We know now this is the famous thing where, boom, Superman gets Yamcha'd. And if you understand that reference, you understand it. Jed, do you know that reference?
That Dragon Ball Z?
It's a Dragon Ball Z reference. Good man.
I saw the memes of it, but I wouldn't have gotten that on my own.
I wouldn't have gotten my own, but somebody else memed it. And of course I understood it instantly as an old school DBZ fan. So having Superman get Yamcha'd, at least he's not ass up. I'll give them that. He's not ass up.
That would be taking things too far.
Yeah. But Jed, this is not, in my opinion, a way to start a trailer. Not when you've been preaching hope for weeks.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it could have been something here. Like, trailers are supposed to have narratives, in my opinion, to give you a little bit of an idea of the story, a little bit of idea of the scene, or context for anything. There's supposed to be connective tissue between the scenes, and I don't feel that in the trailer. If I were going to include this scene at the beginning of the trailer, I would have the rest of the trailer not be intercut with him getting saved by Crypto or anything like that. I would have him fighting to sit up, to stand up, and I have that big heroic shot of him just battle beaten, but he's like, I'm back in the fight, and then zooming off to continue whatever fight he was interested in. If they had done that, like a few seconds in the trailer, show whatever other footage you want, you see his fist come down into the snow as he starts to try to rise, and then up on one knee. And that, I think, would have fit in with the look up, you'll believe a man can fly from the original Superman, and that hopeful theme that they're going for, like you said. I think that would have made at least an internal narrative for it that, yes, you're going to be beaten down. Yes, sometimes things are going to be too much for you, at least at first glance, but you can always get up and continue to fight. And that would have tied this trailer together so much better. As it stands, it's just a bunch of random crap that doesn't incite any emotions. It doesn't tell any of the story. It doesn't make us invested in these characters. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the individual shots in the trailer.
No, but I have commentary from James Gunn on that. He has some.
The trailer itself, I think, is edited very poorly. But it's so long too. This is an over 2-minute trailer. This shouldn't be a teaser, in my opinion. It's long enough to be a full-fledged trailer, so we absolutely should have more than what you get in a traditional teaser. Teasers can still have content, though. They can still show you something, even if it's just one scene, like intercut with him getting into that fight, and then we find out some of what a first enemy protagonist in the first act would be, or something like that. But enough that we can know about the characters, know about a scene or an arc that he's on. But I get nothing from this. There's no point.
You got it right. And now we on Friday when we were talking about this on Ballbusters, I forget who it was that brought it up, but it was mentioned that if you look at the entire thing, he's slowly getting up, and it starts with him down and then soaring at the end. And my response to that was, this is that if it's in there, and I do sort of see what they were talking about, it might have been Dermian that said it. It's James Gunn sniffing his own farts and trying to be artsy fartsy. Look, he started down at the end. The final shot is him soaring up. See, he is soaring. He is flying high, going up. No. For the normal person who are not you and I, who have a cinematic eye trying to break this shit down, they're not going to see that. They're going to see Superman Yamcha'd in the opening frame and then whistling for Krypto to come. Now, that comes in a second because then we get the shot of the Clark Kent. Now, there's been a lot of debate about the floppy hair. I didn't make any commentary on this because, fine. Clark Kent looks different than Superman. Great. I have no comment.
I like the hair. I don't know how he's changing it because that's a fundamentally different hairstyle, not just it's different length, it's curlier. I don't know how he does it, but I do like the idea of making more than just glasses be the difference. And if you stood them side by side, they look different enough that you can start to believe why people wouldn't connect the dots with him. So I actually I like his Clark look. And the clumsiness.
Make a different Clark Kent posture, behavior, look. Great, fine, no problem with that. So then we get back to he's whistling. Now, I listen. It has to be something pretty hardcore to beat up Superman, and you can count on
unless
one
it's
hand.
Kryptonite.
Unless it's Kryptonite based, which is legitimate. Lex is involved in this. It's a very short list of antagonists, villains that can give a beat down to Superman like this. Very short list, and I don't think any of them should be in this movie or are in this movie. So he's beat up, and then he whistles, and the music. All right, during this part of the trailer, they've got the guitar going on. I know it's riffing on the original John Williams theme. I hear it now. I don't like it.
I love them showing the respect to John Williams and trying to get that nostalgia. I appreciate that. But the electric guitar, though, or whatever way that they're modulating it, isn't Superman. It's too jazzy. I think. I don't know if that's the right word.
I just don't like it. It's not fitting is the only words I can put to it. It doesn't work, doesn't fit. And even when they bring in the orchestration about a third of the way through, where they bring in the horns and the strings, it still isn't working for me. Some people are getting off to it. Their fingers akimbo, all happy with it. I'm not, because I'm nothing so far. When we're 30 seconds in, when he whistles. And after James Gunn, as we're told from James Gunn, as we get into a shot at the Daily Planet, and we get a good shot. Now, I will say this: this actress, who I'm somewhat familiar with from other things, she looks fine as Lois.
Yeah,
and I'm remarking on that now because when we get to the other half of this conversation, when we get to the Snyder Bros, when we talk about that, she looks like Lois Lane. She's an attractive lady. They're going to have her in the proper outfits later on, like the purple and the black, that kind of stuff. They went very far to make us think Lois Lane, and I'm okay with that. And at this point in the trailer, when I was watching it, I was wondering if she was in the know. And by the end of the trailer, we know she's in the know.
At some point, she's going to get in.
They are completely in the know with the. Well, let me ask you this. So this is the first shot of it. There's a lot of Lois and Clark in this trailer. How do you feel about that?
Well, my biggest thing is it is a little not redundant, isn't the right word, but we get a lot of Lois and Clark from the other Superman products of the last 20 years that I think it would have been nice to focus solely on Superman. Maybe introduce her at the end of the film, or her just not being a big role in it. At least they maybe have her there, obviously, but they haven't developed their relationship yet. Give more time for Superman, especially with the 20 villains or the 20 other characters that are in this.
Yeah.
We already don't have we don't have enough time for it.
Put a pin in that. Yeah.
I do want to say here, I think it was in this sequence of shots where we saw the exterior of the Daily Planet. I absolutely love the exterior of the Daily Planet with the actual planet design. And the interior looks great as well.
Let's see.
It's not a generic skyscraper like it was in Man of Steel. It actually has character.
Well, I think it actually has the globe on the top of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I love the globe being included.
Yeah. All right. So this is something's clearly going on. He's going to get attention. They have to remind us who James Gunn is, and then we get a shot of the Kent farm, and we have Clark and Pa Kent. I have no problem with this, especially some people are theorizing this might be a flashback. It might be before Jonathan Kent dies. And even if Jonathan Kent is alive, there are adaptations that have Jonathan Kent alive. So that's not an issue for me. If he's dead or alive, I don't care. Doesn't matter.
He does look like a certain man in Hollywood who's
I've heard that.
Imprisoned.
I've heard that. Now here he's going to whistle for Crypto.
Here we go.
While drooling blood. It's a little unnecessary. And then here comes Crypto.
So I do have to say, I've never read the comics or seen an adaptation of Superman where he has Crypto, so I don't know what Crypto's abilities
usually
are.
Animated. It's usually he has all of Superman's abilities because he's a Kryptonian dog.
Okay.
He is Kryptonian.
I don't know what role he plays in it, but I don't like the first time we're seeing this Superman in his suit. He needs to get saved by a dog.
All right. I want to carefully express this because I know if I say it the wrong way, a lot of people might be angry when we say this. So I'm going to say this first part thing. I am not a dog person. I'm barely a cat person. I'm not really a pet person at all. If there was going to be negotiations for a pet, I would at the most I would allow a cat because dogs are a mess. They are a mess. They're nice. I like other people's dogs. I just don't want one of my own. I had one for a while. When I was an adult, sort of. It was one of my stepdad's dogs. She was great. She's a beautiful animal. She was lovely. She was great, intelligent, smart, fun to be around, behaved herself. But I'm not a dog person. So this is not me hating dogs. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Crypto should not be in this movie. I don't care how much of a good boy he is for saving Clark here. I don't care. He shouldn't be in this movie. And I'm not saying I hate Crypto. Crypto just doesn't belong in live action because here's the thing. And we'll get back to the subtleties of why this is also wrong. It's quirky. This is the James Gunn quirkiness that he has to do. And it takes the edge off the combination hopeful seriousness with a slight bit of maybe in-the-know comedy that should be Superman. And that's why I don't like this. And for the exact same reasons you just said you don't like it either. I don't like the fact that Crypto saves him. It's much better if he gets up on his own. And if you were going to do Crypto, and to answer your question again, Crypto has super strength, super speed. I don't remember if he has heat vision. I know he can do like a big barker and breath, stuff like that, because he's been animated. Crypto's had a lot of animated stuff done for him. Would have been cooler if Clark had taken a beat down and we can see the big thing he's fighting. And then Crypto maybe flies in and does a battering ram attack, just like a tackle to knock something out of the way to give him a second. I could accept that because that's teamwork. And I'm always okay with teamwork. But this home, Crypto, take me home, the only line in the entire trailer, and then he gets dragged. I don't like it.
I don't know if I would necessarily have a problem with it in the movie in context, but yeah, as being the big reveal for this Superman, it feels kind of anticlimactic and lame, and that goes against their whole message of hope and strength. And against Superman, we're going too far in the other direction from the Snyder Superman. Much as we love Henry Cavill, that Superman was just brooding, over the top, never really had much danger besides his, death in Batman v Superman. Spoiler alert for a 10-year-old movie. I think we've gone too far in the other direction to make him weak and pathetic, at least portrayed in this individual trailer. We have to just talk about the trailer.
This is
the movie. It tells us nothing about the movie.
This trailer is all visuals and no soul. It's all visuals. There's one soul moment, but it's all visuals, no soul. That's why I'm trying to be as objective as possible with this.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, this is also Crypto's breed. This is James Gunn's favorite breed because it's the breed of his adopted dog. So
Dermy it's a lot of narcissism with James Gunn.
Oh, very
Instead
much
of making the right decisions, he's making the decisions that he would like to see. And I don't like that perspective when you're coming into someone else's franchise. If he's starting his own franchise or using an obscure one like Guardians of the Galaxy, do whatever you want, just make it good. But he's coming into an established franchise. I don't like the egocentristic perspective
here's
taking.
Funny thing. Well, the funny thing is that Dermy was mostly positive about this trailer, like 90, 85%, 90% positive, but he lost his shit calling this dog race swapping because it's a different breed. Lost his shit over that. It's kind
of funny.
It is funny. So he drags him home, and then we get this scene right here, which will be paired later. This is perhaps the best moment in the trailer where he saves the little girl. Because I said, when I was doing my reaction, because I did it live, I watched it. It's like, boom, you know what? This is Superman saving a little girl. I'm just trying to slow through it just to get that one frame.
I don't know what this thing exploding is or what the.
Oh, it is. Oh no, you see, it's a kaiju foot. There's a kaiju.
Oh, is there? I didn't see the foot.
See, look, there's the foot.
Okay. Now I can see it. No, this is great. This is Superman.
Yeah,
we're seeing his super speed, and this is something you wouldn't have gotten in a Snyder movie. You kind of got it in like Superman and Lois or whatever the CW show. They had moments like this. Yeah. But
and that's good. Now, of course, I'm going to question: what is that little girl doing in the middle of the kaiju battle? I'd like to know.
And she's completely unconcerned by it, just standing there casually.
And maybe she's a little downsy. I don't know.
Probably. Superman saves disabled
But
kids.
this is great.
Adam.
This is great. And this is what everybody has latched on to. It's like, bam, all right, that's Superman. I love it. And you get a good look at parts of the suit. We'll talk about the suit in a minute. And then we get a lot of extra things. And this is, then you get a shot of Lex basically watching him fly by and be angry about it. Here's Lex Luthor Corps, not Lex Corps, which people say it might actually still be run by Lionel Luthor and not be run by Lex yet. So that's a lot of theories on that. And then there's another shot of Lex with a gun that might or might not have kryptonite bullets in it. You don't know. And then here's a controversial scene. The little kid saying Superman. When James Gunn, when actually Grace Randolph said it takes place in the middle, there's a scene in the Middle East, and James Gunn said, no, there's no Middle East. I don't know.
It might not be the Middle East, but it kind of looks like the Middle East.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Middle East. And even if it isn't, even if it's another subcontinental area, same thing can be said. Why are we doing this? And I also have a problem because at this point in the trailer, I feel like there's still a lot of Snyder-ish stuff in here. Because then we get to this thing that a lot of people have harped on. I didn't harp on it for some reason. Some people did. I harped on it for the fact that up to this point, we are 1 minute and 40 seconds in. He hasn't cracked a smile.
No.
And he hasn't done, except for saving the little girl, hasn't done anything inspiring. And we're seeing people jeering at him. And my problem was this teaser trailer had to be all positive. I don't care if this is a story plot where Lex has turned everybody against him from one way, shape, or form, one reason or another. I don't want to see this right now. I want to see super positivity. And so
that's what they promised us with the trailer. And so, a lot of contradictions in marketing that I have a problem with this trailer. And it just isn't hopeful. I think this trailer is poorly made. And to such a degree, it's poorly made that I can't make any determinations about the film in any direction. I've got no idea what the plot is. I have no idea what the theme is. I have no idea what the tone is. Just because I think it's a bad trailer. I don't think it's necessarily a bad movie because of it. All this stuff is trailer critiques, not film critiques.
We got this. Listen, love Nathan Fillion. We all love Nathan Fillion. Choice of Guy Gardner aside, he's too old to play Guy Gardner. And at the same time, I know some are saying, well, he's comic book accurate. You know, maybe you shouldn't lean too heavily into it. You know, there is also Guy Gardner art out there where he's got a crew cut. You know, there's also that Guy Gardner artwork out there. You didn't have to go bowl cut because this looks ridiculous. And the suit is the exact same suit that we saw in the screen caps, the leaks that we saw 3 or 4 months ago. It is that bad. It is that bad. And I just happened to freeze on our part. Hawkgirl ain't looking so good either. And I think this confirms this is going to be reincarnation Hawkgirl, which means she's D tier. She ain't S tier. That's not Shira Hall Thanagarian. That's Shira Hall reincarnated Hawkgirl, which makes the race of her fine because, reincarnated from Egyptian mythology.
Right. You can be anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But and there's another shot later. So she looks bad. That doesn't look good. But the Guy Gardner stuff, the other stuff, and now we bring in something you mentioned a minute ago, which I will make a somewhat predictive statement on this movie. And I've been saying this for months, maybe even a year. There are too many people in this movie. Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Ultraman, possibly the Authority, a possible cameo with Supergirl at the end. And I'm going to hold on to that because that might still leak out because you know what they're doing next month? They're starting film production on the Supergirl movie with Millie Alcock next month.
Really?
They're starting next month. Yeah. So that means they've already got her costume done, which means she might have had the cameo that the leaks predicted that we went over.
Mm-hmm.
So
at least an end credit scene that they can,
which is what it's supposed to be.
Supergirl.
She's supposed to show up at the end to tie into that movie. So there's too many people in this movie, which my prediction is, you can't tell me that this movie's gonna make any sort of sense with a story with this many possible antagonists and protagonists and heroes and this and that. I mean, you can't. I feel like like you said, this trailer didn't tell you anything. What I see in this trailer, I see a mess in this trailer. And James Gunn actually said, I'll jump over here. James Gunn has said that a lot of the trailer is in the beginning. There are a couple of moments that are from later in the movie. So you're telling me all this stuff we're seeing is first act?
A lot to happen in the first act.
Where is this movie going if all this shit is jumbled into the first act? And this is easily, I hear, a 2-hour, 30-minute movie, possibly.
Mm-hmm. I can't make any predictions on the plot. If this is all first act stuff, I don't know how well the connective tissue between all these different things can be. Superman's probably going to get lost in the film, which is so much going on. It should really be Superman, his villain, and maybe a little Lois Lane. I still think we should diminish Lois Lane's involvement in this film just to focus on Superman, especially with the 20 characters besides Superman in this film. But we need to start simple. This film is not a simple film. Starting out a cinematic universe, you just need to focus on a character and make that character great. Like Iron Man, Iron Man 2, they included all the other stuff for setting up the other movies. But in Iron Man 1, it's just, here's this guy. Here are the people closest to him. A supporting cast like War Machine and whatnot, setting up the potential for that. But they just focused on him and his villain. And I think that's how you have to do it. As much as we both have problems with Man of Steel, I think Man of Steel's script is awful. And the tone is just not Superman.
It's a linear movie. It's a nice linear movie, yeah.
It's very linear. I think it's one of the best in the Snyderverse.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. I want to go so far as hating, but it's definitely not a great film. It at least knew, all right, we're going to focus on Superman. We're going to focus on Zod.
Yeah.
And there wasn't all these other characters. You still had, of course, the normal ensemble you'd expect, Lois, his dad, both dads, and everything like that. But it tried to stay confined so that we could develop Superman. It got those decisions right. I don't think this film can. We're not showing the origin story as far as I'm aware. We're
they're jumping right in.
He's already established as Superman.
Yeah.
We need to, as much as I agree, you don't always need to do origin stories. It's not always necessary, especially for a character like Superman. Every know where he comes from and whatnot. We don't need the origin story, but we do need to establish the character. And I think he's got lost in that where he's skipping over establishing the backstory, so he doesn't need to establish the character in his mind. And I think that's a mistake. We still need to get time to know what this version of Superman is, what he prioritizes, how he makes decisions, and his worldview. And I don't know if any of that is possible with so many characters in this film.
I feel like Corn Sweat, because that's what I call him, Corn Sweat, because I can't remember how to pronounce his name properly. Corn Sweat, I feel like he's going to get lost in this. as a performance. I don't know if he's going to have a chance to really establish himself as Clark Kent Superman Kal-El. I don't know, because there's going to be so much going on. Because if he's going to have a scene, he's always going to be with somebody else, whether it's one of these heroes, a villain, or Lois. There's going to be nothing where it's him dealing with something. At least that's my prediction from what we've seen here. And here's this shot of very bad CGI Hawk Girl, and I doubt that's Nth Metal. I really doubt that's Nth Metal. I doubt it severely. And then we get a shot of the kaiju, which, hey, I don't have a problem with a kaiju fight. I'm always down for a good kaiju fight. Always down.
CGI is not fantastic, but
fine. Something. It's something.
That's a Superman threat.
Yeah, that's
definitely something that he needs to fight. That's not.
Yeah.
Superman fighting a Batman.
And if we go back right here, that is him right there. That is him floating there. So he is fighting the kaiju. So then we move forward, and this sparked so much discussion, at least for me. Remember the release image we got?
Yeah,
which had that
the
thing,
weird color,
and everybody thought, no, that has to be just they randomly put that together with the weird thing, and he's just slowly putting his boots on. No, apparently this is literally from the movie. And some are saying that what is he doing, and predictions of what that might be out there aside. Obviously, Lois knows who he is, and this is maybe a pep talk moment, which is why he's not rushing out, because maybe he's at that point in the movie where he's been beaten down so much that he needs to be brought up. But I once again jumbled. It doesn't look or feel right. It just doesn't look or feel right. More Clark and Lois. And then there's Fortress of Solitude Rising. And I guess that's the droid that keeps I don't remember its name, the droid that takes care of the Fortress of Solitude. Something happened at the fortress that the droid got its ass kicked, and he's sad. Angry Lex. A Metamorpho was in here somewhere. I'm not going to try and find it. And here's Ultraman, who, as we talked about in the leaks, instead of being the alternate reality Superman, will be a clone Superman who will then turn into Bizarro by the end of the movie. Are we... I'm going to say it again. Too much. What's going on here? What are we doing here? And shot of Mr. Terrific. Here's the fight. And I mean, I made this comment on Friday. I was hoping Dre would be here to protect me. But his costume is spot on. I would have gone with a shaved head, not with the mini fro. I would have gone with a shaved head. He looks a little ridiculous. I'm sorry. There. So now we're definitely limited. He's protected somebody. Some people don't know who that is. I don't think that's Lois, because that's not a posture Lois would take, I don't think. And then again, I don't know. Get that. Lois Clark. And people like this, that's nice. That confirms to me they're in it together. And then he's going to soar up and, and trailer over, except for them holding hands here before he goes off the fight and blah, blah, blah. And we're done. So you notice who's conspicuously absent from this?
Superman.
Okay. Race swapped Perry White.
Oh yeah, that's the
conspicuously
thing.
Absent, played by Wendell Pierce. Very absent from the trailer. And right after the trailer came out, he posted screenshots of him in character from the set on his Twitter account. So conspicuously absent from this trailer. Probably so that it wouldn't be one more thing everybody would fight over. Even though Snyder did it with Lawrence Fishburne in Snyderverse, it's still not a cool thing to do. Perry White is an old crotchety white dude.
I mean, it's in his name.
Yeah. Overall, at the risk of repeating myself from previous takes and videos and even today, I didn't hate this.
Mm-hmm.
But this didn't move the needle for me at all. It didn't give me any faith in James Gunn. I still don't trust him. I don't trust he can pull this off. There's too many things going on here that tell me this is going to be a busy movie, and not busy in terms of, oh, we're moving along good. No, busy in terms of what are we doing? What's going on here? But some people are thrilled. I mean, you can see right there, 1.1 million likes. People, despite the discussions going on, by the normies, this has been received well. But you know who hasn't received it well?
Uh-oh.
Snyder Bros. The one thing I think I hate the most about this is not the trailer, but the fact that it woke up the Snyder Bros. And if you are a Snyder Bro, I don't hate you. I just want you to accept reality. That's all I want. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. The Snyderverse is done. Suddenly restore the Snyderverse. Make Justice. It's not happening. Jed said it a few minutes ago. We love Henry Cavill. He looked like Superman. We could see him almost being Superman, but he didn't get a good script once to be Superman. This ain't is. I mean, Jed, look at this thing. Look at these things. This is the lengths they're going to. They're trying to tell us that it's all so incredible. Look how all great this stuff is. No. Amy Adams was not a good Lois Lane.
She was the worst part casting-wise of Man of Steel. It's not Lois Lane. My limited knowledge of the character, obviously.
Not in look, not in behavior. And her performance.
They had no chemistry. I did not get that these two were in love in the later film.
They just kind of boomed together. I mean, my favorite Lois Lane, my favorite modern Lois Lane is Erica Durance from Smallville. First of all, smoking hot. Erica Durance did it for me on all levels. But she was great because we had her for all those seasons. We watched her and Clark go together, and she behaved like Lois would, a young Lois, before she's super reporter girl. And she looked like Lois. And that's why I will say, what's her name here? I don't remember her name. They at least have her looking like Lois. We'll see if she nails it. Can't predict that yet. No dialogue, no scenes, no nothing so far. But to try and convince us, this one, the one on the left is professional journalist. The one on the right, no clue what they're going. They're reaching so hard right now.
I do agree. That's not a good costume. I don't like the costume she has in this particular scene, but her other costumes were fine.
Yeah, her actual Lois outfit, like the purple shirt and the black pants like that, and the jacket, that's Lois. And this guy who is he's a complete twink. I hate this guy. This guy is always positive about everything. How retarded is, based on the trailer views, James Gunn's Superman is doing $800 million at the box office for sure. This is going to be a huge hit. How do you even begin to calculate something that insane?
There's no basis for that information. Yes, there are trailers that have lots of views that do well at the box office. That just makes sense. But you can't glean a number from that fact. I think the Superman trailer is the 4th highest watched trailer opening day ever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's at this point, it's probably going to do well. That's a number out of your ass.
Well is subjective because this movie is a $300 million plus movie.
Oh,
before marketing.
It's paying for all the 20 characters we don't need.
Because they filed taxes for this. That's what I've heard this week. They've already filed. So we know James Gunn is a liar. Whatever he says, we don't believe what he says. We have numbers. We have receipts. Before marketing, it's $300 million because that's for production alone. That means this thing probably needs close to $1 billion. So this thing could make $700 million and still be a flop financially.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you got people like, so that we have the two sides of the coin. You have the people like this who are insane with their obsession with restore the Snyderverse. And this is just the one of them I grabbed early on. My timeline is filled with Henry Cavill was great. It's Snyderverse this over. It's filled with that. Restore the Snyderverse. They are trying so hard to make it happen, to manifest it again. You have that, and then you have this kind of retardation. It's the extremes. When
no one's willing to apply critical thinking.
Thank you. And as you have said, this trailer doesn't really tell us anything. We're inferring a lot. We're making some what I see, some logical decisions and logical leaps based on what we see, but nothing's going to be confirmed until we get the first story trailer, probably in a couple of months. Because we are now 7 months away, roughly. 7-8 months away from this. And every 2 or 3 months, they're going to drop another trailer. So probably February, we'll get something, maybe March. But what I hate the most are the extremes. The either hate for it or the super love for it. You can be excited for this, but and I will say this. Look at what we're talking about here. We're having this essentially nerd discussion, what we're doing here. It's all been about nerd passion, nerd perspective. And that's good. I'm glad that that's what we're harping on here. But I still say temper your expectations. I mean, Jed, before this came out, what was your expectations for this trailer before it came out?
I was expecting a very positive trailer that focused on the upbeat nature of Superman, especially with the look up marketing that it's been doing. And I expected to have an idea of what the story was. But I honestly didn't expect it to move the needle for me, and it didn't. It didn't move the needle for me positively or negatively. It doesn't tell me enough about the film to get excited or to boycott it. It's just literally, yeah, those are some pictures. That's what I felt like. These were just random pictures. And yeah.
My bar was so low. I had no expectations for this whatsoever. And it didn't even meet that. So I don't want this to be bad, but I don't expect it to be good right now because my red flags are still there. They have not been alleviated. And when we go to here, Superman trailer, a bloodied Man of Steel with Green Lantern, Hawker, and Crypto Superdog. We're embracing all mythology, says James Gunn. This is a long, long article. And he says certain things like here. As Gunn explained in Q&A following the press review of Warner Brothers, the teaser meant to demonstrate that Superman lives in a world with superheroes. Superhero movies have taken these characters and said, okay, it's Batman, it's Superman, but it's not any other stuff. We're embracing all Superman mythology. He has friends who are other superheroes. He has people he doesn't get along with as well who are other superheroes. He has lots of things that we love from Superman comics that we haven't been able to see much in the film media and definitely haven't been able to see in a grounded way, which is what I hope we've created. There's a way to do that, and there's a way not to. And I don't think, from what we've seen, I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off. Creating a lived-in world immediately.
It's too soon. Something like this can work for the second or third film in a Superman trilogy, absolutely. But until you have Superman established, it's just going to be distracting.
You know what the key word is? Moderation. I think it's the key word. James Gunn doesn't know the definition of moderation. Do these things in baby steps. Don't throw it all in there at once. One other superhero would have been fine in this that maybe comes to him for help or mistakenly decides to get between Superman and a fight. And something happens and we get a subplot about him learning his role or her role as a superhero. Not a D-League Justice team that's maybe working for Stag Industries. You know? Not that. Blah, blah. I want to get to the one here. Let me see. Where's the one I want? Talk about the music, which we've already talked about. I want the movie to embrace innate goodness of Superman. Yeah, that's great. But we have a battered Superman at the beginning, and he implied with Superman careening in ice, this is our country. I believe in the goodness of human beings, and I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological beliefs, their politics, are doing their best to get by and be good people. Despite what it may seem like to the other side, no matter what that other side might be, the movie's about that. It's about the basic kindness of human beings, and that it can be seen as uncool and under siege by some of the darker voices and some of the louder voices. Yeah, it's fine and all, but I don't want you even in that mindset making this movie. I don't. There should be no question about Superman's goodness representing anything. He's Superman. He fights for truth, justice, and the American way. It's a very simple concept that doesn't need to be explored. And I feel, even though this on the surface seems like a harmless statement, this is James Gunn trying to be an artiste in a Superman movie, when all I want to see is Superman being a hero fighting bad guys. Am I out of line?
No, absolutely not. This isn't wokeness, but it's still bringing in modern day stuff, modern day metaphors into a film where they don't belong. Superman should be the idealistic escapism entertainment when it comes to superhero stuff. Yes, the metaphor for the basic goodness, I absolutely agree that is what Superman represents, but we don't need to see him battered to be like, oh, yep, that's basic goodness in America Day. We're battered. I don't want to make those connections. I want to aspire to be Superman. I want to look at him and say, yes, this is America as it should be, and he's making that America. He's making that strong world. I don't want to see him like this. There are things that you can infer from Superman, absolutely, but the escapism element should be there, and the aspiration. We need to aspire to be Superman.
That's a good
word. We don't want to aspire to be a broken Superman. That just doesn't work with what Superman's supposed to represent. So I hope this isn't innately a part of the film. I hope this is just something he came up with on the spot. But as long as he's trying to make a modern day metaphor and make us think about our modern lives and our modern world, it's not going to be Superman. He's the ultimate escapism. He's the ultimate aspiration. And if he's broken like this as a metaphor, that's going to be lost. People are going to just be thinking about the metaphor, not about aspiring to be the great man that Superman should be.
You're absolutely right. And that's, like they're saying in the chat, I hope the movie's good. I'm going to see this because this is going to be the talk come July 11th. This is going to suck up all the oxygen in the room for a lot of reasons. Because if this movie flops, and I'm not saying flop isn't just financial, if it doesn't stick its landing, the DCU is done already. It's done.
It all rests upon it.
Right now, Creature Commandos has been off to a horrible start. Some were enthused when it started, but it's been mixed, what I've heard from it. Either love it, you hate it, or not. So it's just not, it's not resonating right away with people. And if this movie doesn't deliver as a near perfect experience, I don't see how everything doing, because they mentioned it in the chat. We're going to mention it again here. Within a moment, suddenly they've announced a Clayface movie, and a full-on Clayface movie is going into production before a Batman movie. And this is supposed to be, as he just said, the heroes in this universe are established. That means Batman's established. Has to be if they're already a Damian Wayne. But it's James Gunn's favorite, which is why we're there.
Are they going to make Batman old enough to make Damian Wayne make sense?
He at least has to be in his mid-30s to have Damian Wayne make sense. If he got involved, basically he would have if he got involved with Talia al Ghul around 18 or 20, he'd have to. And Damian's like 13, 14, so he's got to at least be in his mid-30s. But the problem is just that Clayface thing, that's not in the original release that we poured over and that Dre and I picked apart last year. The Gods and Monsters release timeline. There was no Clayface movie in there, but suddenly there's a Clayface movie. I don't think the so-called plan that James Gunn had, I don't think it's really there. I think he has his big idea about what he wants to do. And I think if something, a jangly key, a shiny catches attention, he'll lock onto it and say, go for it. This is why I don't trust James Gunn. I don't understand.
He doesn't have the discipline.
Excellent. Another excellent word. Using your words today, and I love it. He has no discipline. And just look by his behavior on social media. He should not be on social media right now talking with people.
He's lying more than he's not. Yeah. And it's been proven so many times. It's okay if your movie has a high budget. Don't say it doesn't. And then when it comes out, it's $300 million at least.
Yeah. Well, he's a known liar. That's the problem. And he has a history of not being upfront with people and obfuscating the truth. So there is very little for me to trust him to land this movie. So if this movie fails, where it could legitimately fail financially but be successful with public opinion, but if it ends up being both, I don't see this working. Now we're gonna wait and see. This is by no means a judgment. We have got Literally,
we cannot judge the movie based on this trailer, and I think that's the worst part of it. I can't make any determinations on the film because the trailer gave me no reason to positively or negatively. I think this is a poorly made trailer. That's at the end of the day, it's a bad trailer.
Yeah, I don't like it. I agree. I think it's an editing nightmare. It's because even though obviously some things they're obviously shown out of order, but it doesn't invoke for me the feeling I needed to assuage my fears about James Gunn, and it just didn't. So we're gonna wait and see. We are going to wait and see. We're gonna get more trailers. There's gonna be interviews. There's gonna be leaks. We're gonna get stuff. But we got 8 months of this. We got another 8 months. I'm not saying 9 because it's literally the beginning of July. So it's essentially 8 months. We've got 8 months of this. And I want it to be good for people who want this to be good. I want a good Superman movie. I just don't trust James Gunn in the end. I keep saying that. So do you have anything else you want to say? Because I'm going to start repeating myself at this point.
No, all the red flags that we saw before are very much there. There's too many people in this film. His priorities are askew and narcissistic, honestly. It's focusing on what he wants to see in live action, not what makes the most sense live action, not about adapting the comics. This film doesn't assuage any of those concerns, but it also, I don't think it introduces any new ones.
No, that's a good point.
Neutral trailer experience.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that tilted me towards hatred because you have people who are the Snyder Bros. They outright hate this.
Yeah,
because
I don't agree with that perspective. It gave us nothing. I still think his suit looks terrible, but we already knew that.
I forgot. We got to talk about the suit. We do have to. That suit looks atrocious.
I like the symbol being on the back of the cape. I like that he's doing the trunks, but that's all Corn Sweat. I like everything that Corn Sweat's saying, but I dislike everything James Gunn's saying.
But because when you zoom in on, I already closed this, so I won't bring it up. But when you zoom in on the parts where we get a good look at the blue in the suit, the lines, the extra raised parts, the padding, it's all wrong. The collar that it appears and disappears. How that leaves the question. This trailer put together, is it made up of stuff that was cut or reshot then? Because in a couple instances, people have pointed out the collar length changes on the suit sometimes. So did they use stuff that's been cut or reshoots and this and that? So what's going on? The boots look good.
Yeah, those
look good.
But the
color looks right.
From a distance, I think the color looks weird up close, like the close-up of him walking through the screaming crowd.
Well, that's battle damage, so that's not even the best look at it. It's got battle damage on it. But so yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But I like what you said there. This didn't make me hate it at all. I'm exactly where I was at Wednesday midnight before it became Thursday and the trailer dropped. No trust. I worry. Same exact arguments I've been making for a year. Go back to every time we discussed this. I have repeated myself ad nauseum about it. My tone, my terms, nothing has changed. And I will say one thing. I don't like the music. That's the one new element that was introduced. If that's the tone they're going to pick with the music, I don't like that. Like you said, I don't care if they're playing homage to John Williams. There's something wrong with it. As opposed to Dermy, just use Dermy because we had this discussion on and it's not a shot at Dermy because we had this discussion on Friday. Dermy loves it. He's been listening to it nonstop for days because they haven't released. They released the whole thing on Twitter. He's been listening to it. He loves it. I hate it. I think it's terrible. It doesn't hit any of the proper marks.
Just the electric guitar change is the big thing that stood out to me. It just doesn't feel like Superman. He feels way too traditional.
Yeah,
to have something like that. But
okay, all right. Let's close the book on this. If there are more of us here, we would probably go a little longer, but we've said all we can say. So let's just round this out now. We're probably getting a little early. One last discussion, though. We are at the end of 2024. You actually know what? You know what? I think I am going to close because I want everybody to weigh in on this because I thought we were going to have everybody here because it's
a great New Year's discussion.
It's a New Year's, yeah. Because we're gonna have a show right before New Year's, so we can get it. I'm gonna move that, so I'm gonna take it out of the title. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna take it out of the title because I thought if we were all here, we could have had the discussion now. But there's no real reason to without Dre here or Dragon later or possibly a guest or two to really lean into that because I want all our opinions because we're all going to come at it from different angles, I'm sure. So we're going to say, so next week, because we're all gonna still be here next week. We will talk the worst woke failures of 2024, and we'll add on to that. Is this the end? Have we seen the beginning and end of wokeness for whatever reason? So, Jen, unless you have another topic, we might as well just stop now today. Huh? You got anything else you want to throw out there?
No other topics. Just briefly mentioning the Witcher 4 stuff is getting more and more concerning. The Lore Master coming out and talking about stuff is wild. Like saying it's going to be an exploration of sexism in the Witcher universe. I think that's
I missed that one. I saw the romance one. That's the one I saw this morning.
The romance one, but I don't know if it's the same person. But there's a lot of comments from the lore designer CD Projekt Red that is concerning. Calling the players of CD Projekt Red the F term for politically Germany 1940s people, saying that's how everyone played it is mind-boggling. Like attacking, hey, you like Cyberpunk for the wrong reasons.
Oh, I did see that one. I saw that one. Yeah,
and playing that into the Witcher 4 discussion, I'm very concerned about CD Projekt Red's involvement.
I heard that they didn't even talk to what's his name, the author,
Andrzej Sapkowski. They didn't ask him if it was okay to make her go through the trial of grasses.
Yeah,
obviously it's okay for her to fill the role of a Witcher, but her to be physically a Witcher, you got to talk to the man himself for that. Yeah, it's like
kind of
you got to go to the lore man. You got to go to George Lucas if you decide to include forced dyads.
Well, which they didn't.
Right.
Yeah. So, Witcher 4. We're both obviously going to play it. We're going to play it. And
the concerning stuff is outside the trailers.
Yeah,
kind of like with the Superman trailer. The concerns are from outside of it.
So, and you still think we're about 2 years away from that?
I think 2 years is fair. They said 1 to 2 years after the big announcements of this trailer, they'd have it out. I don't trust CD Projekt Red to have that timeline. Even CD Projekt Red at its height, I wouldn't trust them with that timeline. So I'd say
mess.
2 years minimum. Lots of bugs. Absolutely.
Lots of bugs. But hey, I'll be on console, so it'll be at least manageable, maybe. As for me, I was going to tie in some of the Skeleton Crew stuff to the discussion, so I'll just say a couple things. I want your quick take on it. To continue the path I've been walking you guys down. So how do you like the idea of in this week's episode that the planet they landed on, another planet, and they're all have the prefix "at" on them. They land on that one, and the adults in that one say, "We treat our children like adults here." And I will bring this up because this goes once more into not only the people who make it, but the people who are into it, their behavior on how they are, who they're making this for, and what it's going on for. This little gem was, I found this little gem reposted by the Knights of Melvin. Where is it? There we go. Posted by the Knights of Melvin. What do you think of seeing this? Adding to what I already showed you guys about the people who like this show. And this is all previous stuff, but how do you like that right there?
They're just coming out and saying it. It's all the suggestive stuff that they've done in the past. We knew this is how they were watching this show.
Yeah.
They're just being honest about it.
Yep. It's who this shit is made for. And this guy's a particular weirdo MFer. This dude's I've tried to get the block from this guy. This guy's a particular creep. And there was one more thing. Let me see if I got one more thing here.
It's disgusting.
Let me go back. I don't know if it was for this. I forget. It was a retweet that Mahler did.
I'm not even comfortable reading out that tweet. That's how bad it is. I'm glad we didn't actually read it.
You know what? I'm gonna. Yeah, that's why I didn't read it. That's why I didn't read it. I have something else. You know, I'm saving this one for next week because it goes into the overall conversation about obviously my top of my list that Star Wars is one of the biggest losers, woke losers of that. This is just a tweet that Mahler retweeted. So I'm going to say that for next week. But yeah, so Skeleton Crew not getting any better. And I went from last week, I went from just being annoyed to full on hate after that line. We treat our children like adults. And then watching a little girl try to be an adult and then kneel. The show's it's terrible. And guess what? Nobody's watching it. Nobody's watching it all. Jay Frazier for £5 on the way out the door here. Hail, Jed and Adam. Good luck, Adam, on your B-Sub debut tomorrow. Yes, I'll be reminding everybody of that in a minute. Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a happy new year. Remember, Dermy, fat, and gay. Yes, Dermy, fat. Extremely fat and very gay. Hang on a second. Thank you, Jay Fraser, for the £5, and I'm sure you'll be watching tomorrow when I will be on Little Platoons, 4 p.m. stream Eastern. I'll be there. My first time on the show. I didn't realize he crossed 200,000 subs this week.
Wow, that's quite the milestone.
Yeah, so I could be getting in front of a pretty large audience tomorrow.
Just got to get you to 5. Please let him get you over 5,000. I don't talk about this enough on your channel. I should. Everyone watching needs to subscribe to this channel because Adam is a phenomenal writer and he plans on trying to at least look into the process once he has 5,000 people. We need people to support this channel so you guys can read his books. I've had the pleasure of reading one of his first books. It's great. We need you guys to subscribe to get us there so you guys can experience what I did with his book.
Essentially what we need is the channel to be able to pay the bills. That's what we need. Right? We need the channel to get to the point where we can pay the bills so I can get out of where I am right now and move. Once that happens, everything starts to go into motion. Once the channel becomes self-sufficient, we can take things to the next stage and I can actually get involved in the Iron Age. But yeah, so I'll be on that show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure, hoping you guys show up. And hey, let's just hope I don't screw up. No, I'm sure I'll be fine. But other than that, we're done. We are finished. Yeah, don't shit myself. Yeah. Hey, pregame dump. It's always important. Anyway, yeah. So before we go off on any other random tangents, here we go. Jed, you're off for the rest of the week, right? Merry Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas. A lot of traveling and a lot of holiday stuff. So I'll see you guys here for Roundtable next week, most likely.
Yep. And we postponed Hook for drive-in because Static was ill. Last night was the first time he was able to keep food down last night when he jumped on the stream to hang out with us while we were playing Dark Tide. So Static is feeling better. So I don't know if it's going to be next Saturday, but the next time we do drive-in, it will be Hook. And of course, because it's January next month, it's a new quarter. It's time for you guys to vote for viewer choice episode again. It is once a quarter. We put it in your hands, and we hope that you don't put something horrible in front of us. Although
same rules, Legatus, no porn.
No porn. Eventually, you guys are probably there'll be enough of you that you'll collaborate and you'll put something horrible in front of it. It's gonna happen eventually. We can just hope it's good. So don't worry, drive-in just postponed. We're not skipping Hook. We wanted Static to be there because I promised Static for months he could be on the Hook episode, so I wasn't gonna do it without him. And Jed was traveling anyway. So.
Yeah. Legatus, no, we are not doing Polar Express.
No,
I will boycott. I will not show up to Saturday Night Drive.
That's not happening.
Polar Express.
Yes, that's not happening.
That film is soulless. I feel like I'm staring into the face of the devil watching that
Tom
movie. Hanks
and a bunch of digital Downsy kids. That's what it is,
basically.
And Dermy can cry when he hears this. I don't care. That get ranked from 3 weeks ago was tainted. Nobody fought him. They're like, "Yay, Polar Express! Yay!" No.
That film is evil. All right.
Evil. So we will be back with that. As for me, the rest of the week, as I said, tomorrow afternoon, catch me 4 p.m. Eastern on Little Platoon's channel. Your support will be very helpful there. And then tomorrow night, we still got Mellow Mondays tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Because hey, if I've gotten some new viewers, we gotta do the show. And I got some topics to talk about. And of course, Dune Prophecy season finale. Jed, that goddamn show got renewed for a second season.
Why? Did anybody?
I don't know. It had a premiere of, according to Samba, 875,000 watched the premiere. And the Samba, it's gone up and down on Samba, but nobody's talking about it. It's garbage.
That's not good. That is not good for Samba.
That's an HBO Max premiere too. That's HBO, and it's got live wired cable and streaming. So I don't know. So, but I'm done after tomorrow. I am not. Nobody cares that I'm talking about it, and the people that do care are either angry that I hate it or angry that I like Brian Herbert's stuff along with Kevin J. Anderson.
You can't win with that.
I can't win. So there's no point. I'm getting hate from all sides. So I'm done after tomorrow and moving on. We got Skeleton Crew on Wednesday. Rest of the week, we'll see what happens. There'll be Ball Busters. Aside from Christmas funsies. Actually, Christmas Eve, I might be streaming with Dermy. He's going to do a Christmas Eve stream for people who don't have anywhere to go. So I might, after I'm done eating my delicious steak dinner, I'm going to probably join Dermy. We might play some Starship Troopers, stuff like that. So I might join in on that. A couple of people. Friday, Ball Busters. The melees are coming back, which means a lot of drunken behavior. Dermy's going to break his no drinking rule. He hasn't had a drop of alcohol legitimately for 4 or 5 months. So
that's awesome.
But he's going to be doing shots on Friday. He's going to get plastered within 20 minutes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're gonna get Hiccup Dermy. So have your record buttons ready to record Hiccup Dermy when he comes back. It's gonna be fun. The melees, it's always a chaotic show when the melees show up. So join us on Ball Busters. And other than that, we'll be back next weekend for Roundtable for our New Year's special. It'll be our New Year's special. Yay! Santa Hat's going away tomorrow. This is it. We're done with Santa Hat. Goes back in the bag. Put away until next year. So I want to thank everybody for being here on this Sunday afternoon. The holidays are upon us. Merry Christmas, everybody. We hope you have a Merry Christmas because I have no problem saying Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Jed.
Merry Christmas, Adam.
Merry Christmas, everybody. And we'll see you guys next time. Everybody have safe travels if you're traveling. Hug your loved ones. Sing songs. Be merry. And we'll see you next time. Until then, take it easy, everybody.